Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another live stream. It is another Talking Red video. Talking football. Been away for a couple of days. Actually enjoyed the kind of peace, the quiet, and everything else that went along with that. International break is obviously upon us. And it came at the right time for Liverpool, and it's probably come at the right time for Liverpool fans as well. Chance to somewhat regroup, refocus. Yeah, it's been all right so far. Dragging a little bit, but it's been all right so far. I don't think I've ever wanted an international break more after what we had saw from the previous week before the international break, especially from a Liverpool perspective. But we are going to be talking Liverpool. We are going to be talking about whether or not this club is or this team is in transition. There's been a lot of talk about that word transition over the course of the past few days. So just wanted to chuck my opinion on it as well. But if you guys obviously want to talk anything else to do with football, to do with Liverpool, to do with any other footballing topic, then feel free to get involved in the chat as always. Or if you want to talk about anything else, feel free to get in the chat anyway. Let me know where you're watching from today. Let me know what you're up to today or during the international break. How are you enjoying the time off from club football? Let me know in the chat. But as always as well, hit the like button and make sure you're subscribing if you are new as well. Both things will always and be greatly appreciated. So thank you in advance. And big up to Alex, who's already in the building. Lovely to have you here, my bro. I hope you are doing well on this Wednesday afternoon. He simply says, hi yourself, my bro. Hope you're doing good. So the international break is really beneficial for us to rearrange and transition and get our new boys warmed up and get suited for our upcoming fixtures. That's the hope. That is the hope. Whether or not that will actually happen or not remains to be seen. Like I say, it's always difficult international breaks. You always think it's a time to regroup and, if you're just ended off on a bad run of form, you kind of hope it's that time that we can regroup, refocus, redesign, and go again. But sometimes it doesn't work out like that, and especially for Liverpool, who have got a ton of players that are going to be playing in all different parts of the world. Some are going to South America, some will obviously be playing in Europe, one or two in Africa, of course. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting international break, this one, especially off the back of what has been a terrible, terrible week for Liverpool Football Club in terms of obviously 3 losses on the bounce, back to back. Lost to Crystal Palace, lost to Galatasaray, and then, of course, a loss to Chelsea. It's been dreadful. It's been a dreadful, horrible couple of weeks for Liverpool. And it's been something that we need to talk about. As I said in my reaction video, for me, obviously, there's not one main problem. I think there are little problems, but there is a big central problem. And that is Arne Slot. That is the manager. Now, I'll reiterate this. I'm not Slot out by any stretch of the imagination. But at the same time, he needs to stop overthinking this. Because that's in my opinion what is happening right now. He is overthinking things. He's trying to overcomplicate it. And for the life of me, I can't understand why our best performance came against Atletico Madrid and why we've not simply gone back to that. Why have we simply not gone back to that performance against Atletico Madrid? We were solid defensively for the most part. Yep, we conceded 2 goals, but there were reasons behind why we conceded them 2 goals. One was a fortunate deflection. One should have been considered offside. Atletico very rarely tested us, but at the other end, we were creating plenty of opportunities and plenty of chances that if our final ball had been better, if our decision-making had been better, may have actually seen us score 5, 6, 7 goals in that game. I don't understand why we have simply gone, that performance was great. That performance was amazing. But for the next few games, let's throw all that out the window. Let's ignore that and let's go to this, what I want to do. Why? Why have you been messing around with Florian Wirtz's position when clearly playing off of Isak works? Why? Playing him through the centre works. Why have you therefore been putting him on the left? Makes no sense. Why do you constantly insist on playing Konate at centre-back when his head is clearly not in the right frame of mind? Why? Why are you not playing Jeremy Frimpong at right-back? Why don't you trust Frimpong at right-back when you brought him in to play that role at right-back? Why do you trust Szoboszlai more than our more natural right-back? Who, by the way, when he played the right-back against Bournemouth, was actually decent in that position and obviously played decently as well in that position against Atletico. He offers an outlet down that right-hand side. He offers an option for Mohamed Salah. Why are you not playing Frimpong? It makes no sense to me. And why are you not trusting Federico Chiesa? Why on Saturday, when the game is at the mercy of Liverpool? Why on Saturday, when we should be in the ascendancy, smelling blood? A Chelsea defence that is weak and only got weaker as the game wore on. A Chelsea defence that was playing 4 fullbacks across the back 4. And they also had a goalkeeper in Robert Sanchez, who is useless. Why are we not going, we should step on their necks here? We should step on their necks here and go for the kill. Why are you therefore throwing on Wataru Endo when you have Federico Chiesa on the bench? Why? Why? It makes no sense to me. I do not understand it. I genuinely do not understand it. Big up Nick, who's in the building. Hope you're doing well, my bro. He says, I don't think you ever thought the team does not seem to click. Don't get me wrong, bro. Don't get me wrong. The players need to take some responsibility as well. I'm not saying that they don't. There are certain times where the decision-making of the players was poor. There were times where the final pass or the shot or whatever it was that they attempted to do just didn't work out how I imagined they imagined it. Don't get me wrong. The players have to take some responsibility. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind about that. But with the exception this season of Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, and Van Dijk, and obviously the goalkeeper, Alisson, who's been, Alisson, and maybe Federico Chiesa as an impact player off the bench, can you name me another player that's actually played really, really well? Ekitike, I can maybe give you that argument. Ekitike, I think, has been one of our better hit the ground running type of signings, 100%. But out of those 5 or 6 players, no one's really been that great. And for me, as much as you can blame them for certain little things, the wrong pass, the wrong decision, the wrong type of shot, wrong shot in general, wrong decision making, the final ball not being good enough, not being a good enough pass, too long of a pass, an overhit pass, underhit pass, whatever the case may be. As long as you can blame them. Sorry. You can blame them for that. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But the fact that most of the squad, whether we've dropped players and brought players in, whether we have decided to move certain players around, the fact that the majority of this squad is not playing well, that's down to the system. That is down to the head coach. Because we all saw what Kirkes could do last season. He hasn't quite hit the ground running. We've all seen what Frimpong can do in the Bundesliga. He hasn't quite managed to replicate that form from the Bundesliga over to the Premier League. We all know what Florian Wirtz can do. He hasn't quite replicated that form yet. We all seen what Isak can do at Newcastle. I know he's building his fitness, but we need to see a little bit more. We obviously know what Salah can do. We obviously know what McAllister can do. We obviously know what the main bulk and spine of this team can do. But for whatever reason, it's not there yet. And it's systematic. Now, whether it's just the players getting used to a new system, or whether it's just the system just does not match up with the caliber and type of players that we have, I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm not 100% sure yet. But it needs to change, and it needs to change fast. Whatever the solution is, one thing has to change. Either the players need to adapt and adapt quickly, or Slot needs to slow down with the transition and bleed it in gently. Whether it be the new players to bleed in gently, or whether it be the style of play to bleed in gently. Jurgen Klopp was amazing and was one of the best. And I think one of his underrated qualities was he knew how to bleed players in gently. He did it with Fabinho. Remember when Fabinho first came in and we were all scratching our heads going, you just spent 50 million on this Fabinho guy and you're not playing him. Why? But then after a while, he started to be bled in gently. He started to adapt to the Premier League. And we all saw a change and an impact in Fabinho and the squad because of Fabinho's input. That's what made Jurgen Klopp so great. I think we've tried too many, too soon, too quickly. The fullbacks are different. The number 10 is completely different to any number 10 that we have tried to play with previously. The striker is different. That's 4 players right off the bat. You can maybe argue a new goalkeeper as well. You can argue 2 new strikers. This team, whether rival fans want to hear it or not, and we're not making excuses, are in transition. We're not making excuses for that. We're saying, like, we are in transition. Because last season, there was only Federico Chiesa that was brought in, and he barely played. And if you watch the Liverpool games, it was basically Klopp's DNA with gradually Slot's fingerprints just tweaking things a little bit here and there. This season, it's a complete change. Rival fans won't want to hear it because rival fans see the money that we spent in the summer. They see that we're Premier League champions and they go, you're just making excuses. And they go, you're the media darlings. Why are you not getting media throwing pelters at you left, right and centre like other clubs would? And that's not a Liverpool fault. That's not Liverpool's fault or Arne Slot's fault or anybody's fault. That's just the media being the media. They do that to Arsenal and they do that to Man United because they know that they can get more out of them through rage baiting and things like that. They know that they can get more from a rattled fan base like that than they can with us. And there may be other factors as well as to why they're not going so hard on Liverpool, but it's not a Liverpool problem that. It is a problem of the media. And you should be questioning why. You should be questioning why. But without throwing shade at Liverpool that we're somehow controlling the narrative or whatever. I understand that certain other clubs would not get that level of, what's the word I'm looking for here? That level of a relaxed approach, shall we say. There should be more questions asked of the squad. There should be more questions asked of Liverpool, of Arne Slot. I get that. But at the same time, if you are going to basically list the amount of players that we have sold and the amount of players that we've brought in and go, why isn't this team gelling instantly? Well, no team has ever had this amount of, first team signings and gelled instantly. People are saying like, oh, Arsenal have actually had more signings this summer than what Liverpool have had. And that may be true. But how many of those players are actually first team signings? Okay, I'll give you Zubimendi. But I don't think Gyökeres, as much as I think they needed a striker like Gyökeres, I reckon that if Kai Havertz had actually been fit, I think we probably would have seen Havertz start more games than Gyökeres over these past several weeks. I personally think so. Therefore, I personally think that Gyökeres, I don't think would be a first team player, but he's been brought there. But we've also not seen Gyökeres at full capacity yet. You can maybe argue Eze, but we all know that Odegaard's been in and out of the team through injuries. Martinelli's been blowing hot and cold. Would he have been the starting player? I'm not 100% sure because he wasn't for the first few weeks. Against Liverpool, he came off the bench. Against City, he came off the bench. So, first team? Maybe, maybe not. Mascara, bench. Norgard, depth. Most of them players were depth players. Barring maybe one or two, mostly depth. Mostly to bulk up the squad and have this squad depth that Arsenal fans are raving about. Fine, fair enough. But Liverpool have actually, gone out there and gone, we need a brand new starting left back, Kirkes. We need to replace Trent Alexander-Arnold, Frimpong. We need a goalkeeper that can be slowly bled in to be the long-term successor to Alisson, Mamardashvili. We need 2 new strikers because we don't trust Darwin Núñez and obviously the sad, tragic and heartbreaking passing of Diogo Jota. Isaac Ekitike. We're going to go out and make a real statement by splashing the cash on a brand new number 10, one of the best creative midfielders in the world right now, and is still relatively young at the age of 22, Florian Wirtz. The issue that you could say we've got is our wingers are looking poor right now. Salah is not firing on all cylinders. Still has his moments. I mean, if Isaac just gets his header down, maybe it could have been 1-0 at the weekend. That incredible outside of the left foot pass from Salah to set up Isaac was absolutely phenomenal. He still has that in his locker. That still hasn't gone away. But if you don't get the ball to Salah enough, he can't do those kinds of things. If you don't give him options to use, whether it's to play make or to keep the ball, he ain't going to be able to do those kinds of things, which is why I think Frimpong is definitely needed for his pace, for his pace down that right-hand side. I just think it all goes back to Slot and overthinking it. I think playing Wirtz and Ekitike together doesn't quite work, unless, of course, you're playing 2 strikers up front. I think it is much better if I just think it's much better if we do go down the route of Isak converts, Isak converts just seems to be a lot better. I mean, 45 seconds into his appearance on Saturday, and Vert should have had a goal from Salah. Vert should have had an assist from Salah. That little spin and passing the ball through was incredible. It was a beautiful piece of individual brilliance. Individual and improvised brilliance was just amazing. But people will see like, well, he hasn't got any assists, he hasn't got any goals, so what's he bringing to the table? Creativity, creates chances. Just, he can only do so much. He can only do so much before, his teammates have to start chipping in. So, there you go. I feel like missing energy that Frimpong, Chiesa and Isak brings. I hate that we have chances, but we fail to score chances. Don't matter if we don't score, especially late into the game. One thing I will say about that is like, I feel like the chances will start clicking eventually. I have no doubt our attack will start clicking in eventually. My concern is defensively. I have no doubt Wirtz will be fine. I have no doubt that Isak will start firing on all cylinders very, very soon. I have no doubt that Ekitike will continue his bright start to his Liverpool career. I have no doubt that Mo Salah will rediscover some sort of form, hopefully before going to AFCON, and then maybe picking up from where he left off after AFCON. I have no doubt that even though he's been frustrating me these past few weeks, Cody Gakpo will return to some sort of form down that left-hand side. I have no doubt that our striker and attack situation will start clicking into place at some point. My worry is our midfield looks weak. Our defense, apart from the games against Atletico, Burnley and Arsenal, look too easy, too passive to play through. Take the Caicedo goal at the weekend, for example. In the build-up to that game, I said, we are so easy to play through. One pass, and the opposition have got a good opportunity on goal. Our midfield and our defense part like the Red Sea. It is easy to run or even walk straight through the middle of both of those two outlets and through the middle of our team in general. And what does Moises Caicedo do? Between him and Gusto, they have a good little interchange, and Caicedo is simply free to have the complete final third of Stamford Bridge to himself. Because he basically walks forward with the ball at his feet. The midfield is nowhere near him. There is not a midfielder anywhere near him. No McAllister, no Szoboszlai, no Gravenberch. It is a midfield that is completely nowhere near him. The game, the ball, and everything else is simply passed them all by. Caicedo is through on goal, and Van Dijk then has to make a decision. He has to either close down the passing lane, which he goes with, or he has to go to the ball. Now, I think in that situation, you probably are suggesting that he has to go to the ball because there's no midfielder around him. You are probably going to have to say that Van Dijk needs to go and close him down. Van Dijk needs to go to the ball. He doesn't. He continues to back off. So Caicedo goes, you know what? I'm on the edge of the area. I'm going to have a shot. I'm going to have a pop-up goal. does that. And then, of course, it ends up in the back of the goalkeeper could do a fantastic strike from Moises Caicedo. No doubt in my mind about it. Fantastic strike by Moises Caicedo. But at the same time, that is too easy. That is way, way, way too easy. Do Arsenal concede those types of chances? Very rarely. Very, very rarely does that happen for Arsenal. Do you see Arsenal getting done by one pass? Very rarely. Very, very rarely. It's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating when you've got all of these good players, all of these good players, and yet they're let down. The system just does not work. It's not gelling right now. It's just too. It's just so unconnected and uncoordinated. It's just unbelievable right now. It's genuinely so frustrating. So frustrating. And like I say, the system is dysfunctional. Canate is terrible. Just trust Frimpong Gomez. I know Gomez is, so awkward in terms of his fitness and so awkward in terms of obviously staying fit. But just please trust Gomez. Trust Gomez, please. Trust Gomez in that right centre back position. Hopefully, he can rediscover and resurrect the kind of form he was showing alongside Virgil van Dijk. Of years gone by. Of years gone by. The hope is that we get better. The hope is that we improve. The hope is that things will improve. But right now, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I say, I just think the overall factor is our players are making the wrong decisions, but at the same time, I don't think Slot is making the right decisions either. And I praised Slot a lot last year. One thing I loved about Arne Slot was the fact that okay, maybe he didn't get everything right off the bat, but he was so good at identifying problems, identifying solutions during the games that's why we won a lot of our games. That's why we salvaged so many points because he during the game came up with a solution to the problems that we were facing on the pitch. Against Wolverhampton Wanderers, that's the 2-1 that we produced against Wolves. That game is the one game that I go back to so much because, the previous game we drew 1-1 with Everton. 2-2 with Everton. And we should have seen that game out, but we didn't. And he quickly looked at the game and went, right, I realised the mistake I made. And the mistake that he made was not putting on, ironically, at that point, Wataru Endo. Because Endo was the guy to see out the game with. Endo was smart. He was intelligent. He was the guy that you could trust to see a game out. Not to go and win a game like we should have done on Saturday, but the guy to trust to see a game out. And it worked because he identified that we couldn't keep hold of the ball. So there's no point in trying to keep hold of the ball. But if we get someone in there that's going to put a challenge in, that's going to, win us a few free kicks and maybe, smartly stop Wolves from progressing with the ball, be a bit of a destroyer rather than a creator, it worked. It really did work. If he'd have done it against Everton, it probably would have worked out the same, but it worked. Wataru Endo worked against Wolves than it ever has done. He was good at doing stuff like that because it wasn't just the Wolves game. There was plenty of other games as well where he tweaked things and he would change things early and it would work to his advantage. But now it's like that's not happening anymore. He's getting things wrong before the game. He's getting things wrong in the build-up to the game. He's getting things wrong during the game. There are issues there, man. There are issues there. I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom and everything like that, but there are genuine issues all the way across the board here. Serious problems that need to be addressed ASAP. Alex says that Isak is usually a really good position at times, but when Salah has the ball, he doesn't really pass it to Isak and he takes the shot. The main problem is team chemistry. That will come with time. There's no, I don't doubt, because, you know, Salah's had to play alongside Darwin Núñez for the past few years. So it's a different player to an Isak in a matter of speaking, because, you know, Salah would usually have to put the ball either on a plate completely for Núñez, or he would have to kind of meet him in the air kind of thing. Isak is no slouch. He's not slow, but he's not Darwin Núñez rapid level, I don't think. So it's a different type. And plus, Isak is much better technically with his feet than Darwin Núñez ever is or ever will be. So there is a little bit of obviously adjusting between obviously the two players there in that aspect. But yeah, you are right. There were a couple of times on Saturday, especially, where all he needs to do is find the pass. All Salah needs to do is find the pass to Isak, and Isak has an opportunity on goal, and he doesn't do it. He doesn't do that. Salah decides to go on his own, and it doesn't end well. And again, I think it's a slight adjustment for Salah as well, that he has to learn and remind himself that he's no longer like the main man anymore. Like, he still is a big part of the machine. He's still a big cog in the machine at Liverpool, but he doesn't have to be the main man anymore. Florian Wirtz can take some of the creative pressure off of his shoulders. Isak can take some of the goal-scoring form off of his shoulders. He doesn't have to carry the weight of both of those expectations on his shoulders anymore. And I think Salah needs to realise that yes, you are amazing. Yes, you have been so consistent these past couple of years. But put a bit of trust in the players that you have around you now. You're not having to carry them like you were last season. You're not having to carry them like you were in previous seasons. For the first time since Mane and Firmino, Salah has to remind himself to be unselfish again, because he's been playing alongside players that have kind of looked to him and gone, you're going to need to carry us here because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like, for the first time in a long time, Salah actually has quality players around him that can share the workload of scoring goals and creating opportunities. So there is an adjustment for Salah as well in that. There definitely is. Winning against Man United would be great for team confidence. Yeah, it would. Home game at Anfield as well, I think, will be good for team confidence as well. But like I say, man, as much as I want to be confident for that Man United game, I genuinely don't know. I want to be confident for that game. I really, really do. I want to say that we're going to go to Anfield and we're going to absolutely smash the living daylights out of them. We are going to absolutely put them to the sword. They're going to crumble. We're going to start taking our chances. We're going to be solid defensively. And we're going to absolutely wipe the floor with these with these guys that, you know, haven't been great for a number of years, but the fact of the matter is that form goes out the window, everything goes out the window that and derby games are often the games where teams step up. And as we've seen with Man United, the big games against the big opponents are where they have stepped up most. Not in all of them, but against teams like Liverpool last year, we know that obviously last year they took us to the limit a couple of times. They took us to the limit a couple of times and got a couple of points from us. We know that obviously, against the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea, they've taken points off of those types of teams. So we can't be thinking that this is a foregone conclusion. We can't go into the game thinking the game is won before a ball is even kicked. We have to go in with an open mindset and a strong mentality that we're going to fight for every ball. We're going to win every first ball, win every second ball, and we're going to absolutely step on their necks and not let up until the final whistle. Metaphorically, of course. That is exactly what we have to go into. It'll be a big win. It will get us back on track. And of course, like you say, it will do wonders for our confidence to beat a big rival. Even if United aren't exactly at the peak of their powers anymore, even if United have been somewhat, down as of late, it will still be a massive, massive moment for Liverpool and Liverpool season. So, yeah, that definitely does need to be taken into account. That definitely does need to be taken into account. So I'm just reading something here. But yeah, so that Chelsea game was frustrating. The performance was poor again. The result was terrible. We're going to the international break off of top spot. Arsenal currently have the momentum. Arsenal currently have everything going in their favour. And we're in the pits right now. Can we bounce back against Man United? Yeah, of course we can. But the international breakers came at an opportunistic time. Hopefully we come out of it unscathed. Fingers crossed we come out of this unscathed. I don't know, man. I really don't know. I want to say we win. I want to say we'll be fine. I want to say we've got no issues whatsoever and it's just a blip. It is just a horrible week. It's a blip. We'll come back from this and the performances begin against Man United. But I'm not so sure, man. Like I say, I saw more at the beginning of the season in our loss to Crystal Palace at Wembley than I did against Palace in the Premier League, than I did against Galatasaray, than I did against Chelsea. I saw more in that game, more in the Bournemouth game. The Newcastle game was shocking, even against 10 men, but we still managed to get away with it. I saw more in those kinds of games than I did in the past week or so. I really, really have. And I genuinely don't know where we go from here. I really, really don't. I want to say that we'll be fine. Of course I do. But I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And there is massive pressure now on Liverpool and Arne Slot to turn things around. The Slot outers, look, you're entitled to have your own opinion. You are entitled to have whatever opinion you hold. If you can justify it, then I will defend your right to say it. I may not agree with it, but I understand where you're coming from, right? Slot outers, it's weird. It is so weird. You criticize his team selection, criticize his tactics, go ahead. But to say Slot out right now is maybe a little bit premature. You know, maybe if we lose to Man United, maybe that might be different. Who knows? But at the same time, like, we need to demand more. There should be more. There should be more. There should be more improvement from this team. There should be more signs of life in some of these players. We should be seeing more from these players and this manager. We really, really should. As far as what Liverpool are concerned, look, I get the criticism. I get where everyone's coming from, but bottom line is we are a team that's in transition. And again, I know rival fans will not want to hear it. I know they won't want to hear it. But at the same time, we are. We are. Several players out, several players in. We are in a bit of a transition period right now. One that I don't think a lot of us expected. One that a lot of us maybe took for granted, oversight a little bit at the beginning of the season. But we are somewhat in a transitional period where Arne Slot is finally getting his team together, his style, his fingerprints on it. We shall see. We shall see. Big up to Reluctant Gamer who's in the chat. I hope you're doing well, my bro. Hope you are well during this international break. Big up to you, my friend. Big up to Jordan as well, who's in the building. I hope you're doing well, my bro. Lovely to have you on board with us. Go and subscribe to Jordan's channel. Doing some brilliant stuff over there. Over on his channel. Something for everybody, I'm sure. So go and show Jordan some love and support. Nice fresh cut. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Big up to Luca Talks Dons, another one who's doing some incredible stuff on his channel. Do go and check out Luca Talks Dons. Talking MK Dons and also some Arsenal content as well. So big up to you, my bro. Lovely stuff that you're doing over there. Do go over there and show him some love and some support as well. Reluctant Gamer asks, what kit is that? It is a Valencia shirt. I believe it's the 21-22 one. I don't remember which version it is. I think it's 21-22. I could be wrong. But it is a Valencia shirt. Lucas says that Liverpool are just having a blip. I really hope you're right, bro. I really, really hope you're right. I hope it's this kind of like teething process of bedding in new players. I hope that is basically the case, and that's yeah. And I hope that is the case. It's just going to be a teething process. We can bed these players in, and they bleed in really well. I'm hoping that is just the case, and hopefully everything starts connecting, because we seem just so disjointed defensively, and our attack just seems to be working not in tandem, but the opposite of tandem. So fingers crossed that will be the case going forward. I'm glad you're doing okay, my bro. Glad you're doing okay, my friend. Yeah, I noticed change the logo. I like it. I like it a lot. It's really good. I like it. It obviously suits the Dons. So big up MK. But yeah, I like it, my bro. It's really good. Nice get. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Get Fletch to 1K subs, fully deserved. Please vote for him on Content Awards. I'm not there yet, but we'll take it one step at a time, shall we? Let's just try and get to 1K first and foremost. That would be an incredible milestone, especially if we can do it before the end of the year. That would be amazing. But if not, it is what it is, isn't it? So, yeah, but I can't thank you all enough for the love and support on the channel. It really does mean a lot to me. So thank you to each and every single one of you. I changed my channel name, bro. Yeah, I noticed, bro. I noticed that. I think you were last week. I think you came into the chat last week, and I noticed then. I don't know if have you changed their name since? I don't remember. But either way, yeah, True Copite Reds. Big up to you, my bro. Luke is asking for Jordan between you two, so I'll keep it there. You know, yeah. Like I said, bro, I noticed last week. I think you came into the stream last week as well, and I noticed them. Liverpool will win Premiership. I really hope so, bro. I really hope so. Because if it ain't going to be Liverpool, then it's going to be Arsenal. And I know that obviously you're an Arsenal fan yourself. Really big up and respect to you, my friend, because you're one of the Arsenal fans. There are many, but you're in the kind of minority when it comes to overall Arsenal fans that I think talks a lot of sense when it comes to Liverpool. So when it comes to Arsenal. So. Yeah, I hope you are right. Otherwise, the majority of Arsenal fans that are a bit, for use of a better word, deluded, I'm going to have to put up with seeing a lot of talking. And basically, they're the kind of ones that have been keeping receipts. Basically, Arsenal are not good enough. Arsenal are this, Arsenal are that. Arteta's this, Arteta's that. And we're going to have to spend a long time of them just dishing out those receipts. So, yeah, but you are one of the many in the minority that talks a lot of sense. So big up to you, my bro. Luke is on the road to 9K. Guys, get subscribing to Luca's channel. Let's get him up to 9K and let's show him some love, show him some support, because he is doing great stuff over on his channel. So if we can all do that from me to him, that would be absolutely amazing. I changed it to this name after we played Chelsea. Fair play. I was going to say, I thought it was different. I thought it was a different name. I know that you changed it last week, but I can't remember what it was last week. But I did think it was different. So, yeah, man, whatever works for you, my bro. It looks good. True Copite Reds. Rate it, man. Rate it. We won't win the league. Arteta bottles it. However, if we buy a winger in January, someone proven like Semenyo, I think we can win it. May need a keeper because Kepa might go. Yeah, it's mad that you brought in Kepa and he already might be going in January. There was talk that allegedly Semenyo could be available in January for about 100 million, which I think would be phenomenal. And if you had then, you'd have the most dangerous front four ever. Saka on the right, Semenyo on the left, Eze through the middle, and Gyökeres up front. That would just be phenomenal if you had that. And that would be dangerous. That genuinely would be extremely dangerous. But it's a case of whether or not there is truth to that story. It's a case of whether or not Arsenal want to splash the cash on Antoine Semenyo in January, or whether Bournemouth genuinely do want to sell him. I mean, Semenyo's having a phenomenal start to this Premier League season already. A lot of fantasy football managers are very glad to have him in their squad. But yeah, Semenyo is... I wanted Semenyo in January, in the summer, you know. I wanted Semenyo. I remember going on... remember going on Jack's channel. And we talked about potential summer signings for Liverpool. And I remember saying, like, maybe Diaz's time is up at Liverpool, and I would bring in, personally, Semenyo. Semenyo, for me, would be it, because Semenyo reminded me so much of Sadio Mane when he was at Southampton. He reminds me so much of Mane at Southampton that I was like, that could be the next Sadio Mane. Like, a guy who is on the cusp of just transforming himself from being amazing to them being up there as being elite or world class. He could make that transition with all due respect to Bournemouth, a step up. And I said, like, get Semenyo, and obviously we didn't. But again, it is what it is. But it just reminds me so much of Sadio Mane. It just reminds me so much of Sadio Mane. It is a different name. It was true. I thought it was. Big up to you, bro. Hope it all works out for you, my brand. I was going to say bro and friend, and I went brand. my bro. We have the squad to do it, but the problem is when the pressure gets to him, he collapses. But if Arsenal can sell Jesus for 30 million and sell a couple of players, we can make 100 million. I would get Semenyo. You're not really notoriously a selling club, though. That's the only problem. You're not really a notoriously selling club, but you could raise the money. I guess you could easily raise the money. If obviously who would you sell though? Who have you got to sell? Like I say, you got Jesus to sell if depending on his injury. Could you maybe sell Martinelli as well, or Trossard? One of the two. One of them two maybe as well to raise the money. I know the Saudi were seemingly interested at one point in Martinelli, but I think Semenyo would be an upgrade. So, better to get the upgrade. If we get Semenyo, we will win the league. Lucas said it. I don't want Yildiz, not for me. Fair enough. Like I say, Semenyo for me, top quality. And if you do get him, then fine, fair enough. Jordan says he remembers that stream. Yeah, it was with Jack. I remember, and we were talking transfers, weren't we, at Liverpool? And I said Semenyo. I said Semenyo or Anthony Gordon, and I was like, Semenyo for me. Semenyo. Big up, Jay. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Lovely to have you on board with us. Hope you're doing great, my friend. Doing Crown Jewel is Luca. Big up. Have you noticed how fans are so thinking about future signings that they haven't realised that we are a month into a season? So some people are always looking for the next brand new shiny thing. They're always looking at what is on the horizon, rather than what's right in front of them. Certain fans are like that. They always are looking at that. You know how we take the mick out of Arsenal fans sometimes for being like next season, Netflix FC. Well, everybody's like that from time to time. So, yeah, we get that. Everyone's always looking at next season. Like, for me, I know that next season we need to look at strengthening our midfield. I know that next season we have to focus on looking at the midfield and wing position. And, that's why I'm looking at Adam Wharton and I'm going, pay up the money, go to Crystal Palace and go, Adam Wharton, we need you, bro. But we have to deal with the here and now. And we've got big problems for the here and now. We've got a team that is dysfunctional, disjointed. We've got a team in which our attack is firing hot and cold. We have a defense which is so easy to play through. I just don't get how we're the easiest club to play through right now. I really, really don't. I don't get it. How are we so simple to play through in which one pass simply beats everybody? Everybody. It makes no sense to me. It genuinely makes no sense to me. Like, it's one pass and it's just whoom. It wipes out our midfield, and our defense are suddenly having to run back and panic. It's just boom, one pass. And yet when we go forward, we're so slow at going forward that it takes us 10 minutes to break them down eventually to create a half opportunity. They get a clear opportunity with one pass. We go forward and we go, right, we've just spent about 5 minutes passing it from Alisson to Konate to Van Dijk to Alisson to Kerkez to Van Dijk to Konate to whoever's playing right back to Alisson to Konate, back to Alisson to Konate. We spent about 10 minutes doing that. And then when we eventually do go forward, it's basically the same again. It's like, right, Gakpo could use Kerkez down the outside, but goes inside instead, plays it to McAllister. McAllister across to Gravenberch. Gravenberch to the right back. Right back runs down the wing a little bit before cutting it back and going back to Salah. Salah then cuts inside a little bit and goes back to Gravenberch. Gravenberch then to Van Dijk. Van Dijk over to Kerkez. Kerkez inside to McAllister. We do all of that. And it's like, why are we doing all of that stuff? Why can't we just be more direct? Last season, we were very direct. Last season, we were direct and we were, precise, and our decision-making was just instinctive and instant. Now we're playing this like possession-based football. Where's that come from all of a sudden? Possession-based football is not what is... It's not what everybody used to think it was. It's like you can have all the possession that you want. Like, it doesn't mean anything. Palace beat us with 28% possession. I think we had like 72% possession in that game against Palace. And Palace beat us with 28% possession. It means nothing if you're not doing anything with it. So why the hell have we gone from last season being a bit more direct and a bit more, free to... We know when to dominate the ball, but we also know when to give it up and be a bit more passive and let the opposition just try stuff. Why have we gone from that tried and tested mindset and tactical approach to now being, we need to dominate the ball? We don't have the players to dominate the ball. We have one midfielder who can get the ball off of our centre-backs and progress the ball forward. And that is Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones can do that. McAllister, he's not fully fit. He's not fully fit to do that this season right now. Gravenberch can do his little spin and open up the play, but he doesn't do it, and he can't do it all the time because people will become aware of it and people will go, right, well, he's just going to try and spin me, so I'm just going to have to drop back a few yards and take the ball off him. Like, it's just little things like that frustrate me. And that's why I think when the international break does end and we go back to club football, it's the reason why Gomez needs to start instead of Konate. It's the reason why Frimpong needs to start at right back. It's the reason why Curtis Jones needs to be brought into the midfield. It's the reason why Florian Wirtz needs to stay as the number 10 behind the striker through the centre. So things like that Arne Slot is currently just overlooking and not seeing with his own eyes. If we can see it from watching the game, why isn't he doing that? I prefer thinking about the now. Semenyo single-handedly tried to take 3 points off of us a few weeks back. What a player, man. What a player. I freaking love Semenyo. Like I say, Semenyo, I wanted him in the summer. I said he is basically like what Sadio Mane would have been when he was at Southampton. He's going to get a big move. He's going to get a big move to a big club. Semenyo's the guy, man. He was brilliant last year. But yeah, this year, he's just seemingly gone up a level. He's seemingly gone up a level this year. He's been absolutely superb. Absolutely fantastic. And like I say, if Arsenal do get him, then that front four is going to be terrifying. And if we get him, it's an upgrade on Cody Gakpo. It's an upgrade on Cody Gakpo, in my opinion. That's just how highly I rate Semenyo and how highly I rate his ceiling as well. But yeah, it's annoying. It's frustrating. It is what it is. It is what it is. I say. We need to focus on that position next year. We need to focus on the left wing situation. And we need to focus on the midfield. And for me, there's two midfielders that I would go for, but it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen because, we don't live in a football manager world. But and we wouldn't want to go back to one of the two teams anyway. But for me, I'd go Bruno Guimaraes and Adam Wharton, but that's not going to happen. So one or the other, isn't it? One or the other. Bruno Guimaraes, man, what a player. I like Sandro Tonali as well. I think Tonali's fantastic, but Guimaraes for me. Oh, what a player. What a player. What a player. But yeah, that's definitely the area we need to focus on next year because McAllister is a little bit worrying. And I don't know how long before Gravenberch's legs drop off from having been overplayed these past couple of years. So we shall see. We shall see. But it's fun to think about. Sort of. International break then. How are we all feeling about that? How are we all feeling about the international break? For me, I couldn't care less, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad that we've got a little bit of respite from the absolute dross that we were somewhat forced into watching from Liverpool these past couple of weeks. Like I say, it's both a blessing and an annoyance because we needed the international break to sort of get 2 weeks away to kind of look over things and reassess certain things. But we also need our players to be together to reconnect. And that's probably not going to happen because, like I say, we've got a lot of players from a lot of different nations that are going to be representing those different nations in different parts of the world. So we've got an international break, but we're probably not going to be together for the majority of that break because everybody's going to be off doing their own thing, World Cup qualifiers and whatever else. So that's going to be fun. And it's going to be interesting to see how we deal with that. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just want us back. I want us back. I want us back firing on all cylinders again. I want us back to our best. I want us back to, absolutely ripping teams apart. It is what it is. But yeah, like I said, I think the bottom line is we are a team in transition. I know rival fans will not like it. I know rival fans may laugh at that. But the bottom line for me is we are a team in transition. We've sold a couple of first name players. We've sold a couple of backups. We've obviously tragically lost a big part of our team as well in Diogo Jota. We've obviously had to replace a number of them. So, yeah, I would say we're in transition. Rival fans won't like it. Rival fans will not like me saying that. They'll think I'm making excuses. It's not an excuse. It's just a reason why we haven't quite been firing on all cylinders. We're still proving to be strong. We're still proving to be an annoyance to most fans, because obviously we're still managing to pull off late wins and late goals and things of that nature. But at the same time, yeah, the reason why we're not quite fully there yet, playing at full capacity, is because we're trying to do too much in a short space of time, in my opinion. Bleeding these players in once they acclimatise to the league, especially the likes of Florian Wirtz, Jeremy Frimpong. I think once they start to settle down properly, we will see a different version of them players. We will see probably a similar version to what Bayer Leverkusen fans saw. And, once Isak is firing on all cylinders, I'm not going to go down the route of a tweet that I saw about him getting used to the league. It's not about him getting used to the league. It's about his fitness building, and not just his fitness as well, but him getting used to the players that are around him. I mean, he's having now to get used to the likes of playing with, Mo Salah and Florian Wirtz. At Newcastle, he was playing alongside Jacob Murphy and Harvey Barnes, with all due respect. With all due respect. So, yeah, there is certain things in that he needs to acclimatise to, not the league, but the players and the team around him. The Liverpool players need to acclimatise and get used to the fact that we're playing with a completely different number 10, a number 10 that we've not played with ever. Salah needs to get used to the fact that he's not the main man. Doesn't have to have that main character syndrome anymore. He can shed the workload to other players that are around him. And our attack and defence need to be matched up. They need to match up and start working in tandem. And the bit that's disjointed right now is obviously the connector, which is the midfield. The midfield is just too disconnected and doesn't work. So once we get the midfield in order and the midfield in check, that's where I think our fortunes may start to turn. Our fortunes may start to turn. But yeah, it's been a rough couple of weeks. Probably going to be another rough couple of weeks of still kind of looking over these kinds of things and looking and identifying where we went wrong. But I just think the main thing is that I encourage Liverpool fans not to lose their heads too soon. Not to lose their heads too soon. Yes, it has been a horrible couple of weeks. The hope is it is a blip. The hope is that what Luca was saying was right. It is just a bad week at the office. And Liverpool will come back firing on all cylinders, better than ever, and we go again. That is the hope. That is the hope. We shall see if that obviously comes true. We shall see if that obviously does happen. but it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. But thanks everybody for watching anyway. We're going to be ending it there. Back into the swing of things after a couple of days of just, enjoying just the international break for what it is, and non-football time. It's always good to just have a couple of days, just no football, recharge the batteries kind of thing. Try and produce some content as we go through the week. There'll be more talking Liverpool stuff, talking Red stuff. Probably going to be talking about Arsenal at some point. Are they now the favourites to go on and win the Premier League? Probably be talking some Chelsea as well. Are they as good as what people are saying they are, or are they overrated? We shall see. Maybe some Forest stuff as well. The Ange Postecoglou experiment hasn't seemingly worked out pretty well for Ange. So we may even discuss a little bit about that as well as the week progresses. All in good time to obviously return next week with build up to the resumption of the Premier League. So that should be good. But thank you, everybody, for joining me here today on this Wednesday afternoon. Do me a favor and smash that like button on the way out, and also subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and probably greatly appreciated. Make sure to obviously hit the comment section as well with anything that we discussed. Any of your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, will make for great and interesting reading down there. As well as obviously things that maybe you want to discuss for future live streams or for future videos. Let me know certain topics that you want to be talking about and discussing. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. I'll see you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, whatever day it is, wherever you're watching from. And I'll see you all again very soon. Take care, everyone. Cheers for stopping by, and I will see you in the next one.